Cool. Now I don't know how to find my own when I do that, but that is that. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for showing out today. Oh, I'm a little stiff from Mondays and Tuesdays workout, but I am pretty excited about today's workout. It's really easy, quick, and to the point. It's about 20 to 30 minutes long. It's something that I made for my dad so that he can do this regularly. It involves a couple of resistance bands, 2 exactly. And we're gonna start off by showing you how to hook these up on your door a couple of different ways before we get started, so that when we come into the different portions of the program, I may not change the position, I may change the position, who knows, we'll see what happens when I get there. But I want everybody to feel comfortable using the different door attachments to practice these exercises, because the resistance bands are something that I really enjoy, and I think everybody should become familiar with them because they're a great substitute when you're on the road, when you can't find weights, like at the beginning of this pandemic, and this is the only thing we've got. So I'm using a modified setup here. This is my TRX door attachment, and I just looped my resistance band, my what brand is this? This is the GoFit brand resistance bands through the TRX loop instead of my TRX. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna crack the door open here. A bunch of light's gonna come in. Now I'm using the front door, and I put it over the outside screen door also, so it gives a really secure fit. But what we wanna do is we wanna take this little thick piece here, we just wanna toss it up over the top of the door. Okay, close the door. I'm going to close the screen door on the outside. Okay, close the inside door, make sure that the band is up above. Now you can lock it, you can deadbolt it if you want to. I would recommend it actually. Why? Because you never know your own strength. You might be stronger than you realize and go, crap, I've ripped the door off the hinges and now I hurt myself and I got to replace the door. And that's just not cool. So, okay, we're going to take our handles here and go onto our bands. We're gonna hook them up. This is a light, comfortable 10-pound band, and it's really easy to use. Just gonna back it up. We're gonna start out with some high rows with external rotation and some reverse flies. So starting from this position here, overhand grip. Okay. I like to practice with a slight bend in my knees. Core is nice and tight. Rib cage is tucked down, which means I'm not leaning back to engage the movement. I've actually got my core braced, like I'm going to take a punch in the stomach from one of my buddies. Okay. And then I'm going to pull back. As I pull back, just before I reach this position here where my elbows are in line with my shoulders, I'm going to start a rotation. Okay. We're going to do 10. 3. Now I like to use this exercise for a lot of my clients that sit at the desk, because it strengthens the muscles of the upper back that support good, healthy movement of our shoulders. Okay. And then the second one is just a simple reverse fly. And sometimes you'll see me moving around, and I'm just going to come down and back. And that's one set. And we're going to do 2 more for a total of 10. A total of 10. Yeah. 2 more for a total of 10 because I know how to add. No, we're going to do 2 more for a total of 3. So again, same thing. We're going to go right back to the top. We're going to pull and rotate. Okay. Now, you're going to know if you're doing this wrong because you'll feel the activity in your mid and low back area. So really make sure that you're allowing your core to remain engaged. If you've got to bend your knees slightly so that you can maintain a neutral spine, a tall spine from the hips to the shoulders, rock that. Okay? Slight bend in the knees, core is engaged now. Rib cage stays tucked down for the most part too. And I rock my repetitions. I hope I did the first set right. I might have just done it like I've been doing in the garage lately for some of my other lifts. So if I didn't do it correctly, this is the correct way. Okay, where it's a row with rotation. Okay, then we're going to get our reverse fly. palms facing forward. We're just gonna rock this from all the way at the shoulder, all the way down the forearm to the wrist. We should feel our triceps working here. We should feel the muscles in the middle of our back turning on as we use the resistance from the band to prime the muscles on the back to pull our shoulders down and back. Okay, so the first one, up and back. Second one, down and back. Creates balancing forces that put the shoulders in a healthy place. So if you're sitting at a desk all day long, okay, or standing at a desk all day long, we keep those upper muscles and the muscles in the upper back working well. Okay, and I try to make sure that my wrists point towards the sky, and I make sure I don't rotate my wrist back like this. If I'm doing that, I'm typically not applying tension to the muscles in the correct fashion. Let's get one more. Awesome. Ooh, that feels good. Okay, and then 10 down again. I always recommend starting with the lightest resistance band for these two exercises because the muscles we're targeting are not extremely large, and we want to make sure we don't overload them and require some of the bigger muscles in the group to contribute more than they should or at all. Last one. Cool, fool. All right, that was pretty good. My shoulders feel really active. We're gonna take our handles off. Okay, we've got our green band. Okay, it's all set, ready to go. Same thing. Unlock the door. We're just gonna let the purple hang down on the inside here. Green one, we're just gonna take and put it up. Actually, no, let's put it outside because it won't stay closed. This is the way the door is set up. All right, the other one stayed up there. Now, if you are working on a door that is not your front door, do not put it on this side of the door. Do not put it on the side of the door where it opens, okay? Unless it's a really sturdy door and you have a deadbolt. Otherwise, it should go here where the hinges are at. Okay? A lot of the different brands will allow you to slide the attachment through the door, between the door and the door jamb, and then close the door and it will stay in place. This door obviously doesn't allow us to do that. That's one of the big reasons that I use the screen door on the outside. So we're gonna hook this sucker up, close the screen door, lock it so we don't get any intruders, which I really don't have to worry about. Okay, lift it up over the inside door, close the inside door, don't really need to lock it. Okay, and then reattach my handles. Okay, now we're going to get into the second part. We've got some neutral rows, some underhand grip rows, and a pec stretch. So the first exercise we practiced with the band was the overhand position with the purple band. Now we're going to practice what's called the neutral grip position, which is palms facing each other, and the underhand grip position here where the hands are either fully underhand rotated, supinated, pointing to the sky, palms pointing to the sky, facing the sky. Okay, or what I like to call the clock position, where you turn your thumbs out to 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock, and we roll from there. I prefer the clock position because I feel like my clients and myself get better activation of the target muscle groups. So neutral grip here, we're going to go with a nice wide row, okay, 10 repetitions. And what I'm trying to focus on is driving my elbows to the outside and not pulling so much with my biceps. I don't want to pull. A lot of people I work with, they pull with their biceps and the shoulders come forward like this, causing us more shoulder pain. We don't want that. We want to shrug our shoulders up and back, creating a good stable platform to work from. And then as we pull, I'm driving my elbows back, muscles in the middle of my back are working and turning on. And then slow on the return. And then as you get a feel for it, you can pick up the pace. Let's get 5 more. 1, again, soft knees, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're gonna go with our clock grip. Again, working the mid and lower trap portion of our trapezius. 4. Now I like to point my thumbs out like this because it just reminds me to keep my thumbs as a visual cue for me to keep my thumbs in the proper position so I train my back with the correct level of activity. And then we're going to turn it around and we're going to stretch out our pecs. Okay? So we're going to take the resistance band, we're going to walk out here. Now the wall kind of gets in the way. Not too bad actually, I can walk past the wall. See, we can take a split stance. Leave the rib, again, tuck the rib cage down. Let the band pull us open. This is a good core exercise. This is like doing a plank to some degree. Okay? The resistance wants to pull me back like this, and I've got to flex my core and keep my core tight, okay? While the band pulls my pec open under tension. Okay, we're going to hold that for about 20 seconds, and then go right back to the beginning again. Okay, neutral grip, 10 rows. Make sure I'm getting everything right here. Yep, 6, 7, soft knees, core tight, 8, 10, 1 more. Good. And then let's stretch. Walk it out here, open it up. If I'm gonna do the split stance, each step or each time I come back to the stretch, I'm gonna switch legs, they go in front. If I focus on keeping my heel down and I lean into it, I can get a good stretch through my hip flexor on the front, okay, through my trailing leg. I'm gonna increase the tension on the pec by driving from that back leg. If I can point my elbows to the sky so that a vertical line passes between my elbow and it's pointing straight up and down from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock, that's a good position. That's externally rotated there, and that's going to get our maximum stretch through our pecs and our biceps. Okay, and then we're going to do 1 more round. Okay, last round for this set. Okay, nothing wild, nothing crazy, right? 2, 4, flaring the elbows to the outside, driving the elbows back, not pulling the bands. Okay? My forearms from the elbow to the wrist and my hands is just an extension of the band. Okay? If I focus on pulling the band toward me more than just driving my elbows back and just holding on, I'm going to get the incorrect mechanics. I don't like incorrect mechanics. That's more than 10. Okay? And then here, 2, 3. One of the things you should really be trying to focus on, and especially as you get acclimated to this movement, is keeping the traps, the upper trapezius active while we go through the range of motion with all the different groups associated with this movement. Okay, the upper traps are the big trap muscle, the big muscle on the top of the shoulders there. Okay, that's these guys right here. We want to keep them up and back, and then go through our range of motion so that the correct muscles are used to get the job done. And then, did I do the underhand? Yes, I did. Okay, turn it around, stretch 1 more time. I'm just going to keep a squared stance this time. I like to keep my palms open as opposed to closed. Although closed, it's going to have some benefits too. Walk myself out a little bit more, really increase the intensity. One of the other things I'm trying to do here is actively squeeze my shoulders together. So that as my arms are being stretched apart, not only are they being stretched, the pecs being stretched across the front, but I'm actively teaching the muscles in the middle of my back to stay turned on with my arms in this position, fully lengthened position, to provide support when I have to move my arms back out in front for me. All right, that was good. Okay, and then last but not least, well, no, actually we've got 2 more circuits. Okay, good. Okay, now we're going to get into some, that's on there correctly, some warrior and single arm plank. Okay, so for me, I like this warrior exercise because it helps me strengthen my hips, strengthen my core, and stretch my hips and psoas. If I can really focus on it, I can stretch my psoas. Typically, I just get a good stretch through my hip flexor on the front. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out here, I'm going to turn my heel, turn my foot so that I've got this 45-degree position, or stay at this 90-degree position. I like to challenge myself with a 90-degree position because I can create more force on the back leg as I lean out into my stretch. Okay. Now again, I'm going to rotate that arm open, pull my shoulder blades together, rotate through my core. Okay. That's a good one for me. I enjoy this one. This one probably isn't for everybody, but for me, I really enjoy it. Okay. And then we're going to get into what I call a single arm plank, or a standing plank. Take the resistance band, it's going to go over one shoulder. We're going to walk it out here as far as we comfortably can. Let the resistance band first, before I get too far, press your arm out first, okay? With various light tension on the band, press your arm into the position that you're going to work from. Then use your body to walk it out, and the resistance is going to keep the shoulder packed into our socket. Then we're going to get out here, and we're going to hold. And we don't need a lot of tension on the band, we just need enough to create a feedback sensory from the core to the brain. So once I get out here far enough, I don't require a lot of tension to turn on my core. And now, through breathing, I can really focus on cinching my core down, squeezing my glutes. We're going to do some double duty here. And we're going to get 5 to 10 breaths, depending on how long you breathe out for each breath. I try to breathe out for 2 to 3 seconds on each breath, and really squeeze strong through my core. Okay, let's get the other side. Remember, same thing. Extend the arm first, then use the strength of our legs to walk it out. Okay, shoulders stay packed in their socket. Squeeze my glutes. Okay, and then brace my core like I'm going to take a punch. And even though I'm pressing with the right arm, I'm keeping my upper back on the left active, so it will stimulate the upper back on the right to stay active, providing better stability and support for my arm at the shoulder. If it gets too easy, you just walk it out more. And just keep on squeezing. Excellent. Okay, and I think, yep, just those 2 exercises. So we'll get our warrior pose again. Okay, strengthen, stretch. Okay, step out into it. Now we're not going to be able to get a true warrior, okay, because I can't, well, I mean, actually I could probably get a pretty true warrior here. Even that's not bad, but not great. The tile doesn't help a whole lot either. Carpet would be better, or gym flooring. Again, this is just something I enjoy for my mobility and range of motion, because it helps me prime specific muscle groups to work together, as well as stretch others simultaneously. For instance, on this side, I'm really getting a good stretch through my TFL, which is one of my muscles in the front of the hips that creates internal rotation of the femur. That's the big bone of the leg. Okay, femur. TFL is a small muscle right here on the top of the hip, and it causes my femur to want to turn inward like this, causing hip dysfunction and knee pain. A lot of individuals, myself included, who sit at the desk far too long, those muscles become tight and they wreak all sorts of havoc on our body. Okay, single arm plank again. Let's walk it out here. Okay. Bracing through that core. Now the reason I really enjoy this exercise, or I find it so enjoyable, is it works a lot of different aspects of force generation through the body in this plane. Okay? If I took the floor and I stood it upright, I'm in a push-up. Okay, right here I'm in a push-up. Okay? Push up, push up, okay? Except what's doing is it's turning me around to the side like this, as well as pulling me back over the top at the same time. So the core has to really work to manage the forces being applied through it. Okay? The core is only going to work as well as the glutes, which attach the legs to the floor and the legs to the hips. So we're going to be doing a good job of flexing our glutes, allowing our pelvis to stay open, our hips to stay open, and our core to stay engaged. Okay, now if you can throw that little spinny spin in there, great. If you can't, no big deal. Now I'm not looking at the camera a whole lot because I don't want to give you the impression that you should be practicing this exercise with your head turned off to the side like this. Okay, we should be practicing with our head set back over our shoulders as best as we can. We don't want to lean into it like this. Okay, nice and tall. Okay, the taller and more upright we are, the more force the band is going to apply. Okay, if we're really tall, okay, 6 foot plus, the amount of force applied by the band is going to be greater because your lever arm, the length of your body, is greater. Good. Okay, and then one more time on the warrior. Okay, now if we didn't want to do the warrior, okay, we could just do a lateral, like a lateral lunge or just a lateral step. So we can go with our feet together here, step out, stabilize, squeeze our glutes, come back together. Step out, stabilize, squeeze our glutes, come back together. But you're not going to get the opening of the hip as opposed to here. We're also going to miss out on the pec stretch. Hang on to it for about 10-15 seconds on each side. I'm not using it significantly for a stretch, I'm just using it for muscle activity. I should really be using a band with a little more resistance on this exercise because my legs are fairly strong. One more time on the single arm plank, press it out, walk it out. Bracing through the core, flexing our glutes. Breathing into the nose, out through the mouth. As we exhale, we should bear down on our abs, right? Not pushing them to the surface, but bearing down and drawing them to the center of our core to brace for an impact or change of direction. Nice, that feels really good today. Get it out here, get everything set in the upper body. I like to keep my hand on my core sometimes to make sure everything is working properly. It creates that mind and muscle connection so that you really can get a good feel for what the core should feel like during this exercise. Okay? Now during this exercise we should have no pain here, we should have no pain in our knees. If we have pain in either place, we're bracing by pushing our hips forward, okay? Okay? Or we're locking out at the knees with excessive force and pinching. All right, okay? And then the last two movements we're going to get into for the hip health and some additional core activity is a lateral balance and a wood chop or a core rotation. For this one, I'm going to take the band and I'm going to move it down from the top to the bottom, or to the side here. So we're going to open the door up, take the band off of the outside screen door, okay, and then we're going to quick like bunny. Okay, actually, if I just leave it there between, and then pull it shut. Now I'm going to block the deadbolt. Okay, and then I'm just going to walk it out here to the side. I hope you can still see me. Otherwise, I'm going to feel really silly doing this exercise. And then I'm going to realize I probably should have put the camera over here and have to do it all over again. Okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up one leg, I'm going to balance. And I'm going to focus on squeezing my butt, pulling the shoulders together in the upper back, using my core to keep myself balanced. And I'm going to hold it for about 5 to 15 seconds per side. Same thing, we don't want the band to pull us to the side, but we also don't want to pull the band. We want to engage the upper traps, squeeze the shoulder blades together, okay? Ties Resistance to the midline of the body. Weight is distributed around the outside of the foot, from the big toe to the pinky toe to the heel, and I'm bracing out laterally all the way up to my hip. Pick up my left leg. That's not enough resistance on the band. Pick up my left leg. And relax. Okay, and then we're going to get a core rotation. So we're just going to take the band, we're going to twist, twist, twist. We're going to get 10 on one side and 10 on the other. Now, one of the things most of us don't realize is this is really how our body functions with rotation. When we walk, we rotate. Even though our direction is straight ahead, the way we propel ourselves is through rotational forces that are managed by the muscles of our hips and core. That was good. That felt really good. Okay, then we're going to come out to our balancing act again. Okay. Now lift up the outside leg, brace through our core, squeeze our butt, and recover. Switching sides. Nice. Okay, and then we're going to get our 10 rotations. And I'm not looking for anything disastrous where I'm like, ah! I'm just looking for comfortable. I'm just moving. I'm just moving. Okay, I'm going to get my heart rate up a little bit, not a lot, but I'm going to get it up enough that I should see some heart health benefits from it. And if I do this routine regularly, 3 times, 4 times a week, maybe every other day for, each month, you're going to see some aerobic metabolism benefits, okay, in the form of change in the body composition due to fat loss. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You can change the grip on the handle. I usually keep it overhand or neutral. Very seldom will you see me do it in the underhand position. It doesn't apply forces to the musculature of the back the way I like it to. Get set. Go. Really focusing on squeezing the core, flexing the glutes, gripping the floor with our feet. Okay, this is going to be a good arch strengthening exercise as well. Ooh, that feels good on my glutes. Excellent. Last 10 here. All right. And that is your resistance band workout. That's now all the exercises that you saw today are going to help create strong, healthy shoulders. They're going to help take the shoulders from this down and forward position to an up and back, where we have a better alignment and we're going to strengthen the muscles of the back, which help the mid and upper back, which help support the correct posture here. We're going to strengthen the core in all 3 planes of motion, front to back, side to side, and rotational. We're going to strengthen the hips side to side and rotate.